and you'll mute yourself.
Hear me?
Well, I can hear you in person.
No. Oh, I'm muted.
Which
I
is
just
good.
muted myself. Oh, okay. I have to stay muted.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone, we'll get started very shortly. I am in the same room as Megan here, even though it doesn't look like it. I guess you can change your name too on your.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna do that now. Change my name very quickly.
Right. You're also off video now. Do you want to be on video? Okay. All right. There you go. Perfect. All right, we'll give them like maybe, let's give 15 more seconds. We'll give it 15 more seconds. We'll get started.
Sure.
All right. Let's see, everything's ready. All right, let's go ahead and begin. So welcome everyone to our July webinar as part of our ongoing CTA and JTL series. This time around, we're going to be talking about marketing and different like ideas, best practices, challenges, and so forth. This time around, I have a special guest. We have Megan here, who is actually in the same room with me right now, even though it doesn't look like it here. But
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, so you'll be hearing her from my my computer, in case you're wondering. But Megan is part of our marketing team, and I'll have her introduce herself in a bit. She will share some of her best practices that she uses for promoting our events, the different resources that she uses, and then afterwards, between her and I, we can share some just some ideas, best practices that we have seen, and then if anyone in the audience would like to also contribute and ask some, we can have you come on and chat with us. We wanted to make this a collaborative webinar this time around. I want us to just kind of share different ideas from different groups, because maybe one idea may not work as well in one area, but another idea might, and it's always good to hear about that, and just different success stories and different challenges that we have experienced with different strategies. So again, my name is Alex Chan. I am the Associate Director of Community Services currently for USTA Mid-Atlantic section. In the past, I've also ran a recreation department for our organization. So I've done a lot of marketing strategies for that department in the past. So I can share some of those ideas. Megan is here with us, and Megan, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm going to just speak louder because I know Alex and I are in the same room, but I'm using his computer audio. My name is Megan Driscoll. I am the marketing and digital content manager here at USTA Mid-Atlantic. So if you've ever seen me interact with you or engage with you through DMs on social, anything like that, that's me. So hello, nice to put a name to the face. Yeah, I am super excited to be here today to go over some of the best practices that we abide by when we are marketing a specific program, event, campaign, anything like that, and how to utilize all of our touch points on digital platforms to ensure to get the widest reach across all audiences, because we're all on the same mission here. We're all working to grow tennis in the section, and it's our goal to help you guys promote your programs and showcase the growth of tennis in the section so that more people want to come play. I mean, we've saw a wide range of audiences coming to join the sport in 2020. So we're really excited to just continue that momentum with all of you And I want to share some of our best practices so that you can have some success on your platforms as well. So thank you for letting me be here today.
Yes, thanks. And thanks, Megan, for joining us. And if for some reason, if like the audio, if there's any issues with audio, feel free to type in the chat, just let us know. I can change up our setup. I think this is picking up well, hopefully.
I agree.
Hopefully.
I have a large voice I can carry.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. All right, so I'll start with a few questions for Megan, and then we'll go from there. First question I have for Megan is, I want to get an understanding of the different platforms that we have used from a section to help market events. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So events specifically also help with any campaign or any type of messaging you're getting to. You want to utilize all your platforms. Now, across the spectrum, there are obviously a wide range of platforms: digital, your website, email, event registration through Facebook, calendar, external media, and things like that. You want to be able to utilize as many as you can to spread your message across all networks. What we'll dive in today is I have a brief presentation just on an example of one of the campaigns we just ran and how you can adapt your messaging a little bit different. But truly just utilize every piece of platform that you have. So everyone has their website. Always have that up to date. Ensure that that is up to date with current information. We're always on there making sure that all of our landing pages are up to date, so that people come across your website, they want to make sure they have the right information, because you may lose someone may bounce off your website and abandon their cart if something's out of date. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. Then also on social, engage with your followers. Make sure to post regularly, and double up if you need to on a day if you have great news to share. But make sure to post regularly and ensure that you announce your event, your campaign, in a certain cadence, so that more people know about it. And then of course there's always external ads that you can invest money in. Boost your posts so that it has a wider range of audiences that you can reach, because who knows, maybe it's not a member that you're trying to reach. You're trying to reach a new player, potential player in your area. So for example, someone in Maryland is trying to reach someone from Columbia. And so from Columbia, Maryland, you want to ensure that you're targeting that geo area, which you could utilize Facebook ads for. Again, we'll get into the nitty gritty in my presentation, and I'll go through this more. But yeah, really the long-tailed answer is use everything you can, everything you have. Make sure you're on the social media platforms. Make sure that you're posting at least once a week so that your followers know to keep up with you and your website's up to date.
Excellent. And yeah, we'll go into more detail about those particulars as we touch upon those different platforms. But we can go ahead to talk about how do you change your marketing strategies based on the platform that you're using. I think you do have a presentation for this, right?
Yes, sure. Yes. This is where I'm going to go into the presentation, and I am going to ask you guys to let me know that we are seeing the slides.
I am seeing.
View, present.
Excellent.
Do you see it?
Yep.
Awesome. So, as I said, how do you market across multiple platforms? You have one program, one goal. The goal is to get, for this example specifically, for us, it was our section awards. Our goal was to get nominations, and boy, did we ever. We were blown out of the water with the amount of nominations we got, because we planned this marketing campaign to be on multiple platforms. Now, what I want to do today is walk you through how we did that, so that you can take this deck, and I'll share this deck with Alex as well after this, so that we can share it out in the follow-up email. But how you can take one campaign and manipulate it and kind of reshape it a little bit so that it's applicable on all platforms. So like I said, the example we're going to go into is our section awards. I cannot reiterate this enough. Plan, plan, plan. So when you have this idea, this campaign to come about, make sure you put it down on paper. Make sure you have a set. The most important things to identify are your overview and purpose. Why are you doing this? the goals, have those goals set out on paper because this is what you want to achieve. And we all know that acronym SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, oh my goodness, realistic and timely, right? So make sure that they actually have metrics for you to achieve. And then what's the strategy behind that? Strategy for us for our awards was we're going to post this out on all digital platforms. We're going to use tactics like social media ads, organic social media content, articles on USTA.com, and also email. So that was our strategy behind it, right? So make sure you write that down. Identify all of the areas that you can use to have that wide reach so that you can achieve the goal of getting nominations. And then, of course, the most important, what's the timeline? How can we put this out so that it's applicable and also, realistic timing? What certain initiatives do you need that have a longer, lead time? Make sure to put that out there on the planning document as well, because if you're working cross-departmentally, that's going to be the most important thing. Now, what I wanted to go over is how did we announce this? So first, we announced our 2021 section awards on USTA.com. We wrote a stay current article just to, thank our Mid-Atlantic community because they are continuing to make an impact on and off the court. You have your press release. This is essentially what it was with click-through links to the nomination form, because again, that's the end goal. We're trying to get people to read this article and then from there, click on the nomination form so that they can nominate a deserving player, a deserving provider, or community organization. So this was kind of like the holy grail, the platform that set everything else off, because from there, then we rolled it out on Facebook. Now, Facebook is huge because it has one of our top followings. I created this graphic and I put it out on our channel with a caption and everything. And then I added the click-through link to our nomination form so that more people can click through there specifically and put in their nomination. Now, with this, Facebook's very important because Facebook is going to be, your general audience that follows you. The demographic for Facebook audiences that are on there are probably those older millennials, definitely baby boomers, and also those 55 and older, from the baby boomer spectrum onward. So make sure that when you're adapting your message, your captions, your comments, that's how you're speaking to that audience, because that's the audience who's on Facebook. The other thing we did with Facebook was we added this post and then we put some paid dollars behind it to boost it. Now, if you don't know what boosting means, it just means a paid ad. So we had this boosted post run for about 7 days with a click-through link again to the nomination form. And we targeted those who liked our page, because we know those who like our page, or we make the assumption to know that those who like our page are those in the Mid-Atlantic community who play tennis, who are interested in learning about tennis in the Mid-Atlantic community. So we wanted to make sure it went across to them. So that's how we use Facebook to really tailor to, our general audiences and keep it really specific to them. Now we rolled it out on Instagram. As you can see, it's the same message on Instagram, but we used different images, because Instagram is great since it's the image heavy platform, really doesn't utilize words, which Facebook, as you can see, utilizes the words on the graphic. Instagram's all about, okay, let's see a catchy image. So for this, because they have the option to do the carousel scroll, we started with a header graphic, USTA Mid-Atlantic award season is here. And you swiped right, you could see all the categories. And the message at the end is nominate today. And the way we do this is, again, we boosted this post as well with a click-through link to the nomination form. And we also put the link in our bio. Now that's really important to know, because on Instagram, make sure, my little tip and trick here is make sure you're not posting a flyer to Instagram, because those the specific specs on Instagram are going to be that 1-to-1 ratio, right? You see it's a perfect square here. You want to make sure that you don't have anything that people are going to try to click on in Instagram unless you put paid dollars behind it, which we did, which is why we said nominate today, here's a button. Because no one can click on Instagram. And make sure in your captions not to put a link in your Instagram, again, because no one can copy the caption and put that URL in Google, let's say. You want to make sure to say the link is in my bio, click there. Because again, that's just how the platform works. It's all very image focused, image catchy. That's how you're going to get the engagements. That's how you're going to get the click-throughs on the link in your bio.
Can I make a couple quick comments?
Absolutely.
So just a few things. For the link on Instagram, as she mentioned, you usually can only have one link in your bio, but there are a couple of free, I guess, software, or website software where you can have, it can be a link, but it can actually link to multiple links in from your bio. Like, I don't know, Linktree is a very popular one.
We actually use that
right
on ours.
Right. So Linktree is a popular one. So just kind of keep that in mind that you only have really one link, but you can use like Linktree, and you can have multiple links. And just something else I just want to mention about Instagram in particular is that it is image heavy. It is starting to become video heavy too. So
That's true.
That's another way that you can customize your ad to make it like more attractive for people to click on, is to make it a video ad.
Yeah.
So that's not for everyone, but that's just something else just to keep in mind, that Instagram is starting to become more video heavy.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something we do on, a weekly basis. We always utilize videos as much as we can. But for this purpose, it was always just, let's create graphics to get the word out to everyone in the Mid-Atlantic. And, but also with a video, you can also boost that post so that you can have more eyes on that post. And through video, since it's so eye-catching, and if you make sure to get your message across in the first 6 seconds, because attention spans are short now. Right. We're all on social media, we're all scrolling through the phone. So that's if you're going to make a video, make sure you get to the point rather quickly.
I was going to say like 1 second. If I post it 1 second to get someone's attention. And I want to pick one last comment is for this like on Instagram, as Megan mentioned, that she has 2 images. So it's called a carousel. So someone has to actually like physically swipe to see the other image. The reason why that's pretty good is because Instagram can recognize that as an engagement. So if someone is actually swiping it, then Instagram will be like, okay, this is something that people want to see. So that's another reason why that's kind of important to have, versus just having one image. Someone could maybe see it, but then they just swipe by it. Absolutely. And there's less engagement on it. So
yeah, there's a multitude ways of engaging with your followers, whether it's scrolling, whether it's having them share this post via a DM to their friends, or sharing it to their story. Again, if anyone has any specific questions, I wanted to kind of keep this generalized, but if anyone has any specific questions on how to get more engagements on Instagram, or what engagements are specifically measured, feel free, shoot them in the chat, in the Q&A box or the chat. We'll be more than happy to unmute you and have you ask your question. So that brings me into great segue into Instagram story. So this is a beautiful way to reach so many people who follow you. Instagram stories enable you to put a graphic you create, or a photo that you take, a boomerang, maybe, if you guys are familiar with those, to put those out on your story. And then everyone on their feed will see that you uploaded a story, and they have the option to click through it to see what you have to say. So for this specifically, you'll also notice Instagram story has different dimensions. So again, it's taking the same message, but manipulating it and shifting it into having a different presentation. So this is the 9:16. That's the way that Instagram story is laid out. So you have that long vertical rectangle. So again, same message as we did on Instagram and on Facebook, it's just manipulated in a different way. And another thing, just reiterating the fact on Instagram story, You can't see it here, but I added a little GIF to this story that said link in bio. So to take them to go to our profile and then hit the link in the bio to nominate someone.
Yep. And then just kind of quick comment. Again,
Absolutely.
this is not gonna, I think for most groups, they probably won't have it, but like right now on Instagram, you can share a link directly from the story, but you have to have at least 10,000 followers for it. So that's a caveat for that. But though I did hear that they are adding a feature, actually, a lot of people to put links
Fingers crossed.
that are under that.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Yep.
Yeah, it's either you need 10,000 followers to be verified, or you go through an application process of being verified. And now then Twitter. So our main platforms here at USTA Mid-Atlantic are Facebook, we're into YouTube and Instagram, because that just always yields the highest engagement, the highest reach. But we do use Twitter as well, because what's awesome about Twitter is you could add videos or graphics like we did here. We took the Facebook graphic that we created, added our caption, tweeted it. But what's great about Twitter is that you can add a link specifically to your tweet that people can click through and navigate away from Twitter. And it doesn't hurt you at all. In terms of what does that mean by hurting you? It doesn't hurt your ranking on Twitter, because tweets are posted or like are shown in your feed by the cadence to which they're posted. So feel free to add as many links as you want in Twitter, because the whole purpose of Twitter is to be news informative, to have articles be shared, to have, nomination forms be rolled out, to have your event registration shared. So you can use links in Twitter, but the thing about Facebook and Instagram is you shouldn't be using any links in any post on Facebook or Instagram unless you have paid dollars behind it, because then that will hurt your ranking in terms of how many people will see it and how they prioritize your post. Again, I know that's a lot of information to take in right now, just across these social media platforms. The one thing I want you guys to remember is know your audience on each of your platforms, tailor your message to that, and know the specs to which are optimized on each platform. So Instagram, that 1x1, Facebook is usually can be honestly any size. It doesn't matter, but usually optimized by like a rectangle ad. Twitter can be the 1x1 or any size, but you can also add links as well. So that was the initial rollout. What we did, and then also email. We utilized our email system, and because this was, an awards nomination period for everyone in the Mid-Atlantic, we segmented our audiences to be pretty generalized. Maybe a few of you even got this email. We rolled it out to everyone because we wanted everyone to know that they have the opportunity to nominate someone. So this was a standalone graphic, and then we just added the click-through link to nominate today, again, to go to the Stay Current that we created, just to get eyes on that and then have them click through to the nomination form. So utilize your email lists. You have people who are registered in your programs, segment them as specifically as you can for a program that's applicable to them, whether it's age criteria, gender, level, things like that. You want to make sure to utilize those lists and nurture those people that you have, and share all of the updated information you have. That's the beauty behind email. Yes, a ton of people email, like you'll probably see you get Amazon emails all the time, marketing emails and stuff, but this is stuff, they're in your programs, they're your member for a reason. They want to know the updated stuff coming up. So make sure to utilize email a lot if you can, if you have a third-party platform, or whether it's coming, from your director or anything like that. And then, so that was the initial rollout. What we did, because we rolled this out, the nomination period closed yesterday. So if any of you didn't get your award nominations in, let me know. I'll open it back up for a little while. But we rolled this out on a 3.5-week basis. So the way we followed up with additional reminders after the initial rollout was we used a success story. So Elliot Dadlow was a 2020 USTA Mid-Atlantic Award winner. So we reached out to him to get a quote on what it meant to receive an award. We used a personalized story to add that persona to this campaign, so that maybe for those who didn't, use the nomination form at the initial rollout, they had the personal touch that really hit home for them. And they're like, oh, okay, I know someone exactly like Coach Elliott. Let me nominate them for community champion this year. I know someone from Aspen Hill, or let me renominate Elliott. He's been doing a great job again, you know? So adding that personal touch, that personal success story, you guys probably have a ton of members in your organization who have personal success stories. Use that. Have them be a part of the campaign too, because people really love that because it's associated with an actual human. And it's just, you add a voice and a persona to your campaign. And then just another one was, we rolled this out on social media yesterday, just final reminder. Those last minute people always come in. We know who they are. We know that they're going to. So they usually, you know, when you light a fire and know that there's a deadline, that's when they roll in. So we actually did get a bunch of nominations that came in yesterday. But, you know, just a final reminder, see how I added the click-through action, the actual action, last day to nominate, with a red button. That's really to catch their eye to, you know, hey, it's your last day. Do you have someone in mind? So that's why this looks like this. Again, same message. It's just framed in a different way. And then that is what I wanted to go over today in terms of how you use a program, how you market a program on different platforms. Now, again, there was a ton of content there, and I'm super excited to share it with you guys. But just wanted to see if you guys had any questions, anything specifically. I could open the presentation back up and go into some specifics on that, but the floor is yours.
And I was gonna just quickly mention that Megan, first of all, did a great job presenting on what we do, and she used this sectional awards as an example, but that, you know, that's just using sectional awards, that like the strategies that she used can translate to other types of programs. Absolutely. So for most folks, probably marketing for like a summer camp or some classes, a lot of the similar strategies can still work to reach out to the audience. You know, but you know, and we're also it was very heavily on the social media aspect of things, but there are definitely other ways to market programming. So we can kind of talk a little bit about that. Like, what are like some other marketing platforms or avenues or ways that people can market that besides social media? Well, what are some other ways that people can market?
So externally, right, you have an event coming up. Reach out to those calendar. I think there's like Eventbrite that you can add your event to the local area. You know, get on an email list on your local dispatch email, whether it be, you know, patch.com, have your article be there for whether you're in Maryland, Virginia, you know, every town or county has one. So make sure you're reaching out to those people, the right people for your program, of course. And then also, you know, is there a parenting blog that the target audience that you're looking for? And I'm just using parenting as an example. If you're marketing to junior programs, you know, maybe reach out to an influencer who owns their own parenting blog. See if you can get your event in an ad on that blog, in an ad on an email. Use your external avenues because there are plenty, especially in the community. Maybe you even have an influencer in the community here, and utilize them and make sure that the word gets spread around, because the goal is to reach as many people as possible. You're going to add more conversions and add more registrations to your event.
No, definitely a lot of good stuff right there. And you mentioned several things that I was going to bring up too from my experience when we were trying to market some of the recreation programs that we were doing in certain areas. Like, for example, we found like in one area there was a very influential like a mama blogger that would post stuff on her website that gets to a lot of people in the area for summer camps. Another location, it was better to attend their like a camp fair where they have different providers come, and parents they know about this event. They come there and they can sign up their kids. You know, stuff like that. I definitely keep your eyes out for those opportunities. And then I guess kind of related to social media in a way, but like parent groups, or like there's definitely a lot of like I guess like parent chats or it's like groups online. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you can find them on Facebook, whatnot, or just a group of people. They have these discussions. They talk about, I mean, actually, next door is like an example of one area where it's an app where people like in the local neighborhood they put down recommendations and
Yep.
whatnot. Like I wouldn't, I would say look into your next door area, like your next door location, see maybe you put some ads in there or
Yep.
talk to some people there. Just like some other ideas. Peach jar was something that we use for like when we're trying to market to schools.
Yep.
So it was like it depends on the area that you're in, but some school systems are going away from physical flyers to all digital like marketing strategy. So we use that, for example, in Loudoun County, where Peach Jar was a little more influential in that area. But Peach Jar isn't as strong in, for example, Howard County in Maryland. So we had to change our strategy.
You got to adapt it for the area that you're in.
Yeah.
And also another thing I wanted to touch on is from the pandemic, we all came out of it with a good thing in terms of people are now using the QR codes again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those were a dying breed in 2020. Now post-pandemic, everyone's using a QR code, whether you go to a restaurant, a local pool facility, anything, to use the QR code, use your phone, scan it, and then see what the landing page, the specific landing page you have. So if you guys can, and there's plenty of free tools out there, all you got to do is Google free QR code and you could create one. All you have to do is create a flyer. Have flyers hung around your facility if you're marketing a specific event that's happening, next Saturday or next month. Spread the word in your area. See if you could add a flyer to a local Parks and Rec or a local Dunkin' Donuts. The whole community comes together when you're trying to spread a good message, which is your good message is the growth of tennis. Let's all go out and play tennis. So create those flyers, add the QR code, and obviously give directions like, please scan me at the bottom, and have a dedicated landing page for your specific event. And that way you can get more people as well, because it's just another avenue rather than social media, rather than digital. You're going back to the traditional marketing of flyers. And QR codes just add a little digital in there. But again, you have a wider reach for that.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad I mentioned the QR codes. So that has definitely become more popular. And the good thing about that too is, like, I think in the past you used to have like a specific app in order to scan it, but now I think most phones, if you
all you need is your camera.
Yeah, you just point your camera
and a
at
smartphone, of course.
Well, yeah, but yeah, most people now have smartphones, and now you can easily scan that and it will pop up the thing that you want to show. So definitely good stuff there. Let's see some other ideas and things. Okay, yeah. It's like again, your community. Just think about different ways that you would connect with them. Like when we were trying to think of different ways to promote our programs, like outside of the traditional space of social media or flyers or emails, we're trying to think, okay, how would someone in the area, where do they go? Like normally, where would they go? And maybe we could put some like physical flyers or something there. So in some areas we have put in flyers for like our programs in like a grocery store. So there's like a board there. You can put flyers. You ask them. A library, for example, is another idea. You can put some flyers there. A lot of times it's free. And then I've seen some groups have also used like a signage on like the roads and stuff. I know that we hadn't done that, but that was a strategy that some other groups have done that's been pretty successful. Yeah, you run into some risks of people taking it down, but like I was talking to this other group, it was like, like our sign will probably be taken down, but before it gets taken down, it will reach so many people.
Right? Yeah. So take what you could get at that point.
So that's another idea. Definitely an idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we're trying to think like other ways, like, okay, we're trying to like, we're in the tennis, in the tennis world, but perhaps we can connect to people that don't know that they should be in the tennis world. So like, how do we do that? You can collaborate with other providers that are in different niches. So we have done that where like I was collaborating with a robotics camp, for example. Like they're like, oh yeah, let's try something different. So we did a tennis and robotics collaboration. But those are some things just like keep in mind, like how can you reach out to new audiences that are not already in your like in your orbit, like how do you reach out to them? But those are some other ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So again, like if anyone like on this webinar would like to also share some ideas or share some questions, feel free to like just let me know in the chat and I can bring you up. Otherwise, we'll start winding down this this webinar like pretty soon. But before we get that, I remember there was one other question I forgot to ask you, Megan, was you kind of touched upon it briefly about the marketing plan, like how do you plan the marketing? Can you kind of go just a little more detail for like, okay, let's say someone's ready to promote their event. What are some things, like let's say you had an event, Megan, that's happening next month.
Okay.
What is your mindset? How do you actually plan it out to prepare for marketing for that event?
Well, again, just in terms of getting pen to paper. So identify what the purpose of this event is. What's the overview of the event? Because more times than not, you're going to repeat this event next year, right? So you always want that historical data and historical background information. So identify the overview and the purpose, right? Why are we here? Then next would be identify the goals. What do we hope to achieve at this event? We hope to achieve 100 registrations. We hope at this event, not only that, I want to hand out my business card to 20 new people that I've never met before. I want to follow up with at least 15 of those people and bring them into a program, you know? So that identify those actual structured goals, put them out on paper. Now, what's the strategy? How am I going to market it? So you use these tools, you know, digital, your website, social media, which we discussed, paid advertising, is it applicable? And then the external marketing, you know, flyers, peach jar, as Alex mentioned, you know, do we hang it up in a local grocery store? Stuff like that. How can we reach as many people as possible? So those are your strategies. And your tactics behind that, you also want to identify your tactics. Tactics are, I'm going to post this to these 3 channels on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm going to reach out, I'm going to email it to people, but I'm going to use my list, my organic list in my email system. Also, I'm going to reach out to Peach Jar. That's the external factor. So you have some internal strategies and some external strategies to get this event noticed by many people. So you identify your strategies and you make sure you bring in the teams that matter. So you collaborate with your team, get as much input as possible, but this is an event. So it's not just dependent upon marketing and communications, because yes, you are going to put it out there, but it's also for whose program. Is this your junior department? Is this your adult department? Make sure to have cross collaboration because you want to make sure you all are on the same page and you all know what's going on and you all know how to stick to the strategy to ensure that you're getting the most success. And that brings me to timeline. The last bit is timeline. What's your timeline? All right, we have an identified launch date. Let's work back from that. Okay, we need, because the lead time for an email takes, you know, our email department 3 business days to create one and then hit send. So we have to work back from that. It takes me X amount of days to create a social media post, work back from that. Identify the target date of launching, and from there, the weekly, the daily cadence to which you will further announce this event and, you know, just further put the caption or the posts out there so that you can continue to engage with your audiences. And it's very important to stick to that timeline because if you miss one day, then everything else is going to get pushed back. So having those strict timelines, having it actually on paper for people to follow, make sure you invite everyone in, have a kickoff meeting, have a brainstorming meeting, take notes, then put your plan together. And really, those are the key aspects, as I stated, of your plan. And from following that, I promise you, it will be so much easier and easier lift for marketing for all of you, for your programs, you know. And if you're not marketing on this call, absolutely share this with your marketing department. They definitely know about this, but you having an idea of what goes into marketing your programs is going to be a huge asset in your back pocket.
Well said. And it's marketing it's a big thing. I know like not all of us have a marketing department. I mean, I know some groups are just, they are the marketing person, they are the coach, they are the many hats. I know there's a lot of things to consider, but one thing before we head off is just keep in mind that USTA Mid-Atlantic is a resource for you all. If you're running a program, like let's say you need like some like a flyer template, you need like other like, you need suggestions or just stuff like that, do not hesitate to reach out. So I could be a point of contact initially, but I can, if Megan's available, I can also pass on to Megan to help you out. But we are a resource for like all of our tennis providers out there. And there's something else we didn't mention is Surf Tennis is it's a platform that we have adopted to use. You can always use that also for your as a resource. Again, it's even if you are running your registrations through your own website, you can still put the program that you have on Surf Tennis, and you can just link it back to your website. It's just another avenue for another place where your event can live that can like connect like potentially people that are looking through like our Net Generation website or Surf Tennis, that they can find your program. It's just another resource for you, and you can also use that website to also host your event as well if you want to. But just want to mention that as well. That Surf Tennis is still being adopted, but it's going to become bigger and bigger over time.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just think in general, like I think the biggest thing is like just reach out to us as resources. I think most people do not realize that we already have some stuff that's available. Well, maybe we have some like thank you for attending this call or listening to this webinar later on. A lot of people do not take advantage of these resources. So just make sure that you do reach out. We're here to help. Right?
Definitely. And we are only an email or on social media, DM away, and we'll definitely help you out any way we can. Also, if you have a program or an event that was successful and you posted it on your social media, I've definitely contacted a couple of you guys and probably on this call right now, to be honest, where I asked, hey, any chance we could share those photos so that the rest of the Mid-Atlantic community can see the success of this program? Maybe they'll want to reach out to see how you ran it. We are here to connect you with resources, with best practices and everything, but also we want to share your successes. So you have any photos that you want widely published, send them our way. We're absolutely willing to work with you on how we can connect you with a wider audience and share them on our social platforms.
Yep, that for sure. Definitely take advantage of that offer right there. Like don't underestimate social media. It definitely can, like, you never know. It can reach out to a lot of people, and it could take some time to build it out initially, but you'll find a lot of benefits from it, and it's good. It's great. Definitely. All right, any final words, Megan, before we wrap it up for today?
I just want to thank everyone who joined today. It was really good to see all of you virtually. Thank you, Alex, for having me, and I hope to hear from some of you soon. If you don't have a question today, totally fine. I know we had a couple of questions that Alex had come in, so I got to answer those. But if you have any others, reach out to Alex. He has my contact information. DM us on Instagram or Facebook. Message us. I'm always on those platforms, so I'll definitely answer them there, and happy to help with anything. So just want to thank you guys for taking the time today, and it's really good to see everyone.
Yes, excellent. And then there's a couple last things on my end, and then we'll wrap it up. Awesome. I will be doing we're doing a drawing for that $25 gift card for Tennis Warehouse for those that are participating in this webinar live. So if you are the winner, you'll be emailed by me within this week, probably pretty soon. So just look for that. And then lastly, we do already have next month's webinar plan. It's going to be on August 11th from 12 to 1 p.m. and it's going to be featuring Top Court. So we have someone from Top Court that will be presenting on what Top Court is and how providers can use that for themselves, for their coaches and whatnot. So that would be a good webinar, and we're also going to be doing a drawing for that as well. So hopefully you can attend. But just go ahead and save the date. It's August 11th, 12 to 1 p.m. And I'm sure you'll get a marketing email from us about it as a reminder too.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right then. Well, thank you all. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. And yeah, thanks again.
Happy Tuesday, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.